You'll hear some noises in the background. That's Granny getting on as quietly as she can with her pumpkin. The pan, first of all. I mean, you can get away with just about any frying pan, to be honest. I've had this about 6 years, though. And look, it's almost as good as new. I just use this for eggs and for omelettes. It's got a good solid base, a good solid steel base, which I think makes all the difference, really. Spreads the heat out nicely because it's got aluminium in as well. So, on with the ring. I, of course, use olive oil because I'm an olive oil person. Most people do what Granny would do, which is to use a nice bit of sunflower oil, but either will do. And it's one of those funny things, you can get away with different things with this, with almost no oil, and you can get away with loads of oil. But I suggest about a millimetre to 2 millimetres depth of oil in there. And warm the oil up first before you put the egg in. And when it's like that, the egg goes in, makes no attempt to stick, and doesn't spread out too much as it goes. Fresh eggs if possible. You can get away with using old eggs, there's no difficulty with that, except they spread out more in the pan and can be a bit harder to handle. It's something that you shouldn't walk away from, though, can I just say. Don't walk away while an egg's frying. If someone comes to the door, or you need to do something, or you need to go to the toilet, turn off the pan just in case, because it can get very hot very quickly. In go my thumbs, pull the egg apart, and out comes the egg. And there we are. And because it's such a nice fresh egg, it's all staying at one side of the pan. And because it's slightly warm, it's going white underneath. And what we're trying to do is to make all the egg go white. Because the oil doesn't cover the egg, and even if it did, it wouldn't be getting hot from the bottom of the pan. As it warms up, we have to gently skite the oil over the top of the egg, just to help the top bits of white. And if you've got a nice non-stick pan, you can push the egg around the pan a bit so you can get to the other side of the yolk. And you've got to cover the yolk as well with oil when the oil's hot. What some people do is get a spoon and spoon the oil on top of the egg like that. And you can do that, but it's a bit of a faff really. Works quite well. The spoon gets very hot though, be aware of that, because it's got the hot oil in it. But I'd never bother with that. I just do some skiting. Getting a bit warm now, I'll turn it down. It's starting to boil. Some people like their fried eggs burnt on the bottom. But I won't have anything to do with that myself. I think this should be cooked. That's bubbling up a bit. And there we are, that's cooked now. And I can tell that because all the white has turned into solid white, including the stuff on top of the egg. Just for reference, here's an older egg. I'll pop that in. And you'll see that this is actually just out of date. Well, actually, even that one's not spread out too much. But it's not as firm and upright as the other egg. What some people do when they've cooked an egg, you can see I've got a tiny bit of shell in there. Most people won't notice that. Or you can carefully pick it out. You see, these long streaks are coming off this egg now because it's not that fresh. So I'll cook this egg from the other side as well. And you can see the white on top of the yolk is becoming white. But what some people do, and I think it's an American habit really, is they have it over easy. When they get the egg to that stage, this is quite tricky to do, turn it over and cook it like that, and some people will do a fried egg like that. And in a moment, voila, an over easy egg. Oh. Off with a hot pat.